Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Retro Cup, showcasing another very powerful team featuring Vigoroth. Vigoroth, you don't see too often, and that is kind of crazy to think about. Vigoroth not being heavily utilized in a specialty cup, but it has a lot of play in this meta. Vigoroth is amazing. It will be serving as the lead on this team, and also on the safe swap, Froslass. I still believe Froslass, the most lethal safe swap option you can possibly run in this entire meta. The reason why is because you can safe swap Froslass, get ahead by a Powder Snow, maybe even two, and having that much of a lead with Froslass is absolutely incredible. And also on this team in the back, Cofagrigus, another ghost type that is not widely utilized, and it should be because it is the bulkiest Shadow Claw user in the entire meta. Providing some added bulk and that super effective fast move pressure up against opposing ghost types. The body slam spam from Vigoroth is absolutely insane, of course, unless it's a ghost type. But here we go. This is not a ghost type, which means that we can stay in here. This is a lantern, quite bulky. And what we're going to look to do is get to the potentially super effective bulldoze here. This is just a surf. We tank that, no problem. We let that go. And now we will look to throw the bulldoze here. Not expecting a shield, as Lantern's about as bulky as it gets, and although super effective, it does survive, but they shield, which I found to be very interesting. Now this could be the Thunderbolt here, but we're actually going to let this go, just in case it's a surf. It's not the surf. So something in the back did not want to see a Vigoroth, but we're going to take the shield advantage and press on here. We're going to align our Cofagrigus onto this lantern, reading that there's most likely some sort of normal type. That's likely what doesn't want to see a Vigoroth. So the alignment here made perfect sense in the moment. And they are just going to go straight surf here just to chip away at our Cofagrigus. We're basically trusting in Froslass up a shield to lay waste to whatever they have remaining on their team. They let that Dark Pulse go, not wanting to go completely down on shields, and there it is. That is what did not want to see our Vigoroth. It is a Greedent. Going to go for this Dark Pulse here, and we should have swapped out immediately, but for some reason we elect to stay in and force them to throw. Now, this is just a body slam, guys. That's double resisted. We survive. That's one of the benefits of being one of the bulkier ghost types in the meta. And they've got a Toxapex in the back. So we should be doing okay here. Toxapex actually one of the better answers to Froslass, as with that water typing and its bulk. It's resisting this fast move pressure, forcing us to build all the way up to the more expensive Shadow Ball. Although we are resisting their fast move pressure with our ghost typing. Going to shield up the brine. Shields are now even here. And we're just going to look to overload because Toxapex takes a little bit of time to get to its charge moves. We're going to take advantage of that. And we're going to go for that big Shadow Ball. It still does not KO. That is the bulk of Toxapex coming in clutch for our opponent. And we will let this brine go. We have to save a shield for the Greedent, as it does have access to Crunch. One of the few Pokemon in this meta that has dark type coverage, which is quite valuable. Gonna go for this Avalanche, expecting the shield. That would KO as bulky as Greedent is, and we're gonna look to catch what could be a Crunch, but it's not. They were looking to bait us, holy smokes. But we did get them to dump some of their energy, and these Bullet Seeds do not apply very much fast move pressure at all. So all you have to do is shield this up. They go for the resisted body slam, and it does not matter. We've got the Avalanche here locked and loaded. And we're saying bye-bye to the Greedent. Froslass coming in clutch to close strong on low HP. You'll love to see it. Good game, well played. I don't get to use Vigoroth very often, but when I do, I often have a lot of fun with it. And here we go, Altaria lead. Not the best, as they are resisting our fast move pressure with their flying typing, but again, guys, the body slam spam cannot be denied. Going for body slam number one, speaking of, and we're going to actually let this go here. We don't want to give them an early shield, and we definitely survive a Sky Attack. And now we simul swap. That was brilliant and could not have worked out better, because if that Froslass got too far ahead on us, it would have been bad news. And you do want to be meeting the Froslass safe swaps with your Shadow Claw user, Cofagrigus, guys. And we did successfully shield up the Shadow Ball. For some reason, Froslass trainers love to go right for that Shadow Ball on our Cofagrigus, and we know better. Grabbing a shield back from them, we know that this is just the Avalanche, and we know that we survive. Again, we are quite bulky, and we can Shadow Claw all the way down, I'm telling you guys. The Shadow Claw fast move pressure comes in clutch in this meta from Cofagrigus. We are now absolutely loaded. Gonna fire off this Shadow Ball here on the Altaria. They would have survived, but they shield, and we cannot make it to another one in time. But we've got an answer for this Altaria here. You absolutely love to see it, my goodness. So I do believe we elect to shield this, not knowing what they have in the back and wanting to preserve health, because the longer you can keep your Froslass on the field, the better off you are, generally. And it happens to be a Lantern in the back. So they're going to go for this Surf here, and we, of course, survive that. And we're going to just look to go for the Shadow Ball here. It, of course, comes nowhere near KOing the very bulky Lantern, but it does some very meaningful damage, and now we can come back in with our Vigoroth and fire off a Body Slam. This also will not KO, but I did not want to risk them throwing a Surf before we get this damage off here. And they are going to finally throw their move here, and that will be lights out for our Vigoroth. So now what we need to do is get rid of this. We don't want to take any more additional fast move pressure. We knew that we did not need a charge move to dispatch of that Altaria. We say bye-bye to the Lantern, and we will Powder Snow beat down this poor Altaria to close strong yet again with our Froslass. You love to see it. Good game, well played. I had a lot of fun with this Vigoroth team in the Retro Cup. I did not, however, have fun with this Froslass lead. This is one of the more challenging leads you can face. I would say Froslass or Jellicent on the lead are very, very difficult to try and handle here, but we're going to let this go. And we're going to look to get off this Bulldoze here. It will not KO, but it will be doing some meaningful damage. And at the very least, grab a shield. So now we're going to make a play into our Cofagrigus here and look to really get ahead on energy. That's one of the benefits of using Cofagrigus in this meta, because it can apply some intense fast move pressure to all of the Froslasses. We do shield up the Avalanche, and I believe we were going to look to farm it down. But they're not hanging around for that nonsense. They're going to bring in a Unova Stunfisk, and we're going to fire off a Dark Pulse, and we're going to look to just play out the zeros here. We tank multiple charge moves from this Unova Stunfisk, as it does not hit particularly hard. Its redeeming quality is most certainly its bulk. Now we will fire off the Shadow Ball here and just about KO the very tanky Unova Stunfisk. And I don't know if they stopped attacking there or if they lagged, but they definitely were not applying any fast move pressure for those last few Shadow Claws. But they do come back in with the Froslass, and they are now attacking with it. We're valuing this energy that we have here, so we're going to shield this. Maybe a little bit questionable, because there could have very well been a normal type in the back, and there in fact is, coming in the form of Double. Actually one of the better normal types to see, because they are applying resisted fast move pressure to us, and they have to go all the way up to that very expensive yet hard-hitting payback. Look at Cofagrigus grabbing shields from a normal type. You absolutely love to see it. A Body Slam will not cut it from them. They go for the payback. That's a very interesting position for them to be in. So now we'll bring in Froslass. We know that we're gonna have to absolutely eat a payback, guys, but we tank it from full health. It does not have stab. We live, barely we live, but we live nonetheless long enough to get to this Avalanche. And we're saying bye-bye to the double. And now we got to beat down this Froslass with resistant counters, and Vigoroth coming in clutch, taking out the Froslass with resisted damage. Good game, well played. I gotta say, it has been very nice in the Retro Cup. I have been enjoying it. I historically always have. And here we go, Dunsparce lead. They make a play into the Froslass, and I think we all know what team this is. Unfortunately, at the time, I did not, guys. This was my very first encounter with the Dunsparce double ghost line, and holy smokes, guys. My goodness, did it put in work on us here. As you can see, we just got totally owned by this Froslass. The first mistake was we were not fast enough to react, allowing the Froslass to get ahead on energy. The second mistake was trying to call that Shadow Ball, knowing that they had an energy lead, just praying that they would just try and bait us, which would not have been the right play for them. And the third mistake was meeting it with our Froslass at an energy disadvantage. So many mistakes to learn from here in this battle. And I gotta tell you guys, again, my first encounter with this team, this team was from a couple of days ago. And I vowed, never again will I lose to this team. And sure enough, guys, I have not. And if it were not for this particular battle here, we would not have seen my amazing team from the day before yesterday with Deoxys, Licky Tongue, and Lantern. Holy smokes. I said never again, and I'm telling you, it has not happened again. Spoiler alert, this one does not quite go our way because we just made far too many mistakes against a very strong team. Very winnable. So to critique this here, what we should have been doing by now, we expect, if we see a Dunsparce, to expect the Froslass safe swap, to insta-swap into Cofagrigus. That way you're not behind on energy, and you'll have a better chance at flipping switch there. Depending on if they want to give you switch or shield advantage, that's the better play to go. And with a shield advantage, Froslass can actually put in work up against Jellicent. But we just made far too many mistakes. We're trying our best here. They're still up a shield, going for the bulldoze. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. And then learning where this team originated not too long after, I said, it will never happen again. And I'm telling you, we have not lost to this team since. Holy smokes. But yeah, it got the better of us. Good game, well played to them. Yeah, lessons were learned in that last battle for sure. And here we go, picking up an awful lead coming in the form of Deoxys, going to safe swap into Froslass, which is the safe swap on this team. And as per usual, they will look to Psycho Boost and Dip. That's fine. Going to let this go. Not giving them an early shield advantage here. And they dip into a Dugong. So this is okay. We are both doing resisted fast move pressure to each other. Going to fire off the Shadow Ball. And they shield. That's very interesting. We'll take that 100%. They don't allow us to get off another move. And that is okay. I was really hoping we would survive by 1 HP, but no such luck there. But what's most important is that we grab the shield advantage. That is what you want from a good safe swap first and foremost. If it can outright flip switch, that's even better. But you really want to be grabbing a shield advantage from your safe swap. That is its primary job on any team. So gonna go for the body slam spam. We are debuffed now with an icy wind, and we're going for body slam number 2, throwing with proper timing. If you have a 2-turn fast move and you're up against a 3-turn, you want to be throwing on 1, 4, or 7, sometimes 10 as well if you can get there. So we take out the Dugong and we immediately swap into our Cofagrigus, and they've got a Froslass in the back. Holy smokes, guys. Cofagrigus up a shield can absolutely cook here. We are going to put in work on the remainder of this team, guys. I'm telling you, going for the Shadow Ball, there is no reason not to. We are up a shield. And we grab their final shield there. It's over. It's over because now what we can do is shield once, farm all the way down. That's the beauty of running Cofagrigus in such a Froslass heavy meta. If you can set it up to get some sort of farm down like we're getting here, holy smokes, look out. Cofagrigus can absolutely go on a rampage. And it is just about nighty-night sleep type for this Deoxys with no shields. Doesn't quite KO, but they realize it was not going to happen for them, and they do top left. Good game. Well played to them. How about Cofagrigus taking over that last one to really bring it home? That was a lot of fun. What's not a lot of fun is a Galvantula lead when you run Vigoroth. Oh my goodness, the reason why is because this thing hits so hard. We're going to look to get off a body slam before they can start debuffing us or doing massive damage to us. We're going to throw one, and we didn't quite successfully catch as they were looking to overfarm a lot of these Galvantula trainers. they have caught on and they look to overfarm by 1. We should have been reading that, but we were not, and we did not. They bank a little bit of energy before making a play into a Dunsparce, a very solid answer to Froslass. And we are on low health, but we are way ahead on energy. Gonna throw this here just to either get that final shield or flip switch with Froslass. We're saying bye-bye and flip and switch. You love to see it. I'm telling you, Froslass. Many of you probably already know the power of Froslass on the safe swap. It's a thing of beauty. So now, gonna throw Cofagrigus in here to meet this Shadow Galvantula. Gonna call the resisted lunge. They're resisted lunging a ghost type. Not a good idea. Oh, they fall in love with those debuffs. Now we will shield because there's a good shot that this is indeed the discharge, and that is a good shield. Making all the right calls. You'd love to see it, and they've got a superior in the back. So this is a very interesting Pokemon. It is quite bulky, and of course, being a starter, has access to the Frenzy Plant. They also have access to Leaf Tornado, which does have a very high chance of lowering your attack. So we're going to just tread lightly here. Shields are down. We successfully shielded up the big move. And now we are looking pretty good here. This is just the Leaf Tornado, and they do get the attack drop. 2-stage debuff. Not a good thing in the end game, but we're going to look to fire off this Body Slam. And of course, with the debuff, it does not KO, and they get a farm down on us. Unfortunate. But we do get the farm down on them, and this Galvantula is hanging on by a thread. It can do nothing. It would have gone down to a couple of Shadow Claws, and they do top left. Good game. Well played to them. Vigoroth Double Ghost was a lot of fun, and it was quite effective. For reasons like this, you pick up nice leads like Aurorus, and they make a play in the Medicham. This is a misplay. Guys, if you have 2 ghost types in the back, and one of them happens to be a Cofagrigus, and you see a Psychic typing swap in onto you, you bring in the Cofagrigus 100%. And the Medicham hangs on by 1 HP. I was like, are you kidding me at the time? My goodness, that was brutal. I would have much rather have not had to tank a Psychic and get a defense drop on top of that. Holy smokes, that was very clutch IVs from our opponent's Medicham there. Now that allows the Aurorus to fully resisted farm us down with Powder Snows, but not before we can get off a Shadow Ball. And they let that go as they do tank it quite comfortably. So now, of course, we're going to bring in our Vigoroth, and we're going to have to shield up the Meteor Beam. We don't know what else they have in the back, and it hits like a truck. I don't imagine they stay in. They do not. They just wanted to get the shield for their Altaria that we see now. That's what they had in the back. So, again, that's why we would have much rather have had our Cofagrigus on that Medicham, because obviously we would have loved to have had our Froslass on this Altaria. So a slight misplay. If you're ever met with a Psychic type and you have a Cofagrigus on your team, you bring in the Cofagrigus, but that's okay. My rationale at the time was I was thinking Froslass is our worst matchup against that Aurorus lead, so that's why we did it. But in hindsight, yeah. Hindsight is 2020, isn't it, guys? So, yeah. But we're okay. We're doing fine. Cofagrigus put in the work on this Altaria. We shielded up the Sky Attack. We resisted farm down the Altaria. And Aurorus does not have a prayer of making it to a move. It gets countered down. And Vigoroth coming in clutch, taking over the game to close strong. Good game, well played to our opponent. Oh, as you can see, guys, Vigoroth with double ghosts in the back absolutely puts in work in the Retro Cup. And here we go, very spicy Salazzle lead. That was a bad lead for us as well. But we were gifted with a Medicham safe swap. And again, as I mentioned in the last battle, you see Medi or Deoxys come in, you do that to him. You say bye-bye, courtesy of a Shadow Ball with your Cofagrigus. That was amazing. Holy smokes. The reason why it works a lot better is because of the Shadow Claw fast move pressure. Allows you to one-shot with the Shadow Ball. And they will not shield that. Especially if they have a squishy Salazzle on their team. Holy smokes. The spice is nice sometimes, my goodness. Going for the Dark Pulse. This thing is literally made of tissue paper, guys. I'm telling you. It's might even be squishier than Haxorus, I would dare say. I have not checked that, but it is awfully close, my goodness. They double shield this Salazzle, and they have energy for days. There could only be one thing coming our way, and that is a massive fire blast. Holy smokes, we do successfully shield that up. And the spice continues. Hello? Druddigon. I've not seen one of these since the Love Cup. Holy smokes. I think if you're going to run Druddigon, you might as well just run your Community Day Haxorus. My goodness. So a very fun and spicy team, but Froslass is here to rain on their parade. We say bye-bye to the Druddigon, and we're not messing around with the Salazzle. We're just going to get rid of it with our Froslass. And we do say bye-bye to the very spicy Salazzle in the Retro Cup. Holy smokes. So what a way to end it off, going up against a very fun and spicy team in the Retro Cup. That was quite fun to see. So, yeah, Vigoroth Double Ghost, very strong line. Normal Double Ghost in general is just very strong. It's just a perfect combination. You have a very strong normal type on the lead and 2 ghost types to protect it from the Metachams, Deoxyses, and any other potential pseudo fighters in the meta. And you combine that with Vigoroth, you've got the 2 ghost types to put in work, grab shields, allowing Vigoroth to do Vigoroth things, guys. You know what I mean. But yeah, a very strong team overall. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.